I got angry the other day. I heard someone tell someone else that they should be content with something that made them unhappy, something that I believed was not God's best for them. In other words, there was something wrong with them because they struggled to accept the fact that they lacked the money that they needed to make their life comfortable and less challenging. That is a tough call for anyone, and something other people have done to me in other ways, which is why I was so mad about it. This is what the victim of this advice would feel like. They had lost some of their freedom. They had this heavy weight tied to them that added to their daily struggle to do what they wanted to do. They were told that they should learn to overcome their problems and stop letting their problems make them so unhappy. They had to find a way of getting on top of their problems, i.e. to overcome them. Ouch, that is not easy. I started to wonder if this was a case of the blind leading the blind, and if anyone really understood what was happening. I realized that the same thing had happened to them as had happened to me. I and my advisors had taken one biblical principle in isolation, which then made my thinking and therefore my actions somewhat unbalanced. I could see exactly the same thing had happened in this case as well. It was a good idea, but it was not the whole truth. The whole truth comes from putting a number of different biblical principles together to make a whole. This picture shows what looks to me like even more snooker balls and pieces of wood than there were in the previous picture, but they are arranged in a very different way. There is not just one ball holding up a board, but 6 boards and 8 balls holding up a 9th ball that is so perfectly balanced that it is not going anywhere. By pulling together a number of different ideas or principles, they had made a well-balanced whole that effectively held the top ball in place. The first ball on the bottom layer is balanced because it has 2 other balls on top of it. Something similar happens on the next layer and the next. The whole thing comes together as an intricately balanced whole. Take one bit out and this complicated structure will come crashing down and there will be balls rolling around everywhere. This is what happens with biblical principles. Take one away and something falls apart. The Bible says that the truth shall set you free. In addition to that, there was that famous occasion when Jesus went into the synagogue and read out a passage from Isaiah 61 and told the people that he was the one who had come to set people free. So what on earth are those who are supposed to be helping others get and stay free doing, adding extra chains onto others? It doesn't make sense to me at all. Well, here are a few snippets of biblical truth about finances and money. God gives people the ability to prosper, even financially. Look at the lives of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, if that sounds a bit out of the ordinary. God gives people witty inventions, i.e. the good ideas that they need to set up in business. Hidden in all the warnings about how not to do business, there are a lot of good ideas about how to do business. Things like the importance of honesty, serving others, etc. If you aim to do anything, including work for an employer or run a business, in a righteous way, then God will provide you with all that you need to be the employee or the employer that you should be. There is more, but this is enough for now. Well, what's gone wrong? Cast your mind back to the story of Adam and Eve. What did the serpent do when he wanted Eve to do what he wanted her to do? He deceived her. He manipulated what God said. He made it sound like the truth, but it was not really the truth. He took the truth and twisted it a bit so that she did what God did not want her to do. Very clever. So how do you break the chains? First step is to ask God to show you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Then you ask him for forgiveness for the things that you believe that don't match up with his truth. And you ask him to help you replace those ungodly thoughts and beliefs with godly ones. This is what will happen to your mind. It will be set free from the things that kept it caged up, the things that stopped it believing or understanding things from God's perspective. Once our minds are set free, we can walk into a new and brighter future. Remember, it is what we think or believe that determines our actions. It is what we believe that determines how we interpret things. It is what we believe that so often puts a lock on the door that we need to go through to change a situation. We believe that it cannot happen or should not happen, and this puts a lock on the door that would lead to change. Change the way we think so that it is more in line with God's way of thinking, and it is really strange. The lock disappears. The problem can change from there being a single locked door to there being so many open doors that it is hard to choose which one to go through. Now do you see why I was so angry? Tell someone that they should be content with a bad situation, and you run the risk of keeping them in the prison of those circumstances for the rest of their life. That is not true. There is a way out, if only they can believe that there is. Curious? Want to see more? Come and have a look round Lily's online place. www.liliesonlineplace.com